Hi everyone, it's Karen here. Welcome to another video with me, and today I'm going to share with you how I created this bright, cheerful little card, which I think will lend itself very well to the theme this month, which is Woodland Friends. I created this for one of my samples for the craft store a couple of weeks ago when the new little forest hares came out. So I'm using Tree of Hope and Tree of Courage. I'm using 3 different stencils. The colours that I'm going to be using are Mustard Seed and Dusty Concord in Distress Oxides. I'm going to be using VersaFine Clear Nocturne for the stamping. And then I've got a couple of Posca pens. So the size card that I'm going to be using is half an A4 sheet. So that's 15 centimetres by 21 centimetres. I'm going to cut it down once I've put my stamping in place. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is taking one of my trees and I'm going to ink it up with Nocturne. I love using this colour and these inks because they give me a nice crisp image every single time. So I'm just going to pop this down on my card, giving us a nice crisp image. Then I'm going to take my other tree and do the same. And I'm going to join them up so that we get a nice little circle in the middle. Now, I use a piece of acetate like this when I'm filming. You can use your ink pad, your blending mat. Taking my mustard seed and my Dusty Concord, smushing a bit on my mat, and then taking my spritzy bottle and I'm just going to add some water like that. I'm going to take in a wash brush. This is a 1-inch brush. 3/4 of an inch would also work just as well. And I'm going to smush all this ink and paint on my mat, making sure that I can get a good amount onto my brush. And then I'm going to just twirl it round like this in the centre. Don't mind if I'm getting some white pieces in the middle. That's okay. That's going to give us a bit of light in our design. I'm just going to wash my brush off really well because I don't want any yellow in my purple. And I'm just going to dry it with my cloth here so that I've got a nice clean brush. Then I'm going to bring my purple in and do exactly the same, but just go around the edge. And because you've put such a light colour on, it's dry really quickly. And then I'm just going to, again, not being too careful here, but just getting a nice little wash all around the edge of your design. Again, washing my brush off. I always wash my brushes off really straight away. That's not good. Just got a bit of dollop of water there. Fortunately, it was clean water, so it's not going to damage my design too much. Then I'm going to take my Gourdless hairs, ink them up. Now, because they're a solid image, I will make sure, tap, 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 make sure that I've got a good coverage of ink on my stamp. And I'm going to pop the first one here. And my second one facing him, again, just making sure that you've got a good... So I'm moving my ink pad around. That way I'm going to get this good even coverage of ink. Perfect. Then I'm going to take the little branch that comes on the bottom of the tree set. And a piece of paper that I've just torn, just randomly. That's it. And I'm going to pop it here, and I'm going to allow, let me just bring my ink pad here, these little bits of the tree branch to poke up. You see how that's going. Underneath the hairs. Stamping them at different heights. They're just going to, because I've captured the bottom of them with my piece of paper, they're going to all look as though they're just popping up. There we go. I think we're done. And then I'm going to take my stencils. I'm using 3 stencils for this design. I've got white orbs, I've got glory, and I've got pebbles. So I'm going to start with my white orb. And I'm going to, there are 2 sides to this. Let me show you. There are 2 sides to this stencil. There are some larger orbs and some smaller orbs. So I'm going to have a mixture in my design. And what I actually want is, I want him sort of looking up at one of the orbs. So I'm going to place maybe that one there. That's going to give me a nice lot of orbs in and around my yellow. So I'm going to take my mustard seed again, which is what I was using before. Ink up my sponge. You can use any nature of blending sponges here, but I just had these to hand. And you can see I'm not being too precious. I'm not taping this down. That's okay. And then we get a bit of interest in our design. Then I'm going to take my glory. I love this stencil. You'll have seen me use it a lot because I like it. And I'm going to ink up my blending sponge well. And I'm going to pop these in and around the edge. Doesn't matter if you go off the edge. I'm going to turn my stencil because I like these leaves to swirl around the edge of my design. So you can see I'm orienting the stencil in different ways. There you go, I like that. I'm going to bring this one, there's a lovely big one there, so we're going to do that here. And then along the bottom, I'm going to take my pebbles one. Oh, what choice, what a joy. And I'm just going to pop it along the bottom here. There we go, that's a good amount. And again, still using the Dusty Concord, I'm going to bring it along the bottom. So now you've got this bit of extra interest in and around your design. Then I'm going to take this gorgeous little dangly foliage. Let me show you what it looks like. It comes on one of the sets of Tree of Hope or Tree of Courage. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's so delicate, so fragile, but is so versatile. So I'm just going to take my dusty Concord. Now, I don't often stamp with my Distress Oxides because I usually like a nice crisp image. But for this, I'd rather like these little dangly bits to be a bit softer. So I'm just going to have a lot of fun popping these in and around the branches of the tree. Now, I'm actually going to make some of them longer, so I'm just going to join them on the others. So there we have. You can see that I did some long, some short. I doubled and trebled some up. That just gives us a whole bit of extra interest in and around our design. And then I'm going to take my Posca pens and just absolutely have a ball dotting here and there. So it looks like the little flowers, some are white and some are purple. And there we have our gorgeous cutesy little design. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll make one. I'd love to see it, so please tag me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.